One of the things that surprised me most in my walk with God over all these years is how easy it is to ignore him or not hear him. God is not the loudest voice. God's voice is not the loudest voice in the world. And the level of importance of any voice in the world is not measured by its volume.
God is speaking constantly to you. Learn from this series how you can hear him more clearly. Order your copy of this series at gregfritz.org.
All right, so let's talk about we aren't listening. And I want to take you to 1 Samuel 3. I find this story really insightful. And I'm just going to read it to you, and then we'll see something about the character of God, the nature of God. 1 Samuel 3 and verse 1 says, "Now the boy Samuel ministered to the Lord before Eli." Eli was the high priest. Samuel, his mother was Hannah, and she couldn't get pregnant. She prayed, and she said, "Lord, if you let me get pregnant, I will dedicate my son to your temple." And I guess things were different back then. So she weans this little baby and gives it to the high priest. Think about that today. If you were to give your baby to the church today, they'd probably give it back. I'm not raising babies here, but evidently they wanted Samuel, and he was dedicated to God in the temple as a baby. And the high priest, Eli, raised him to be a priest and a prophet. And the one thing you notice about Samuel, nothing ever was negative was said about Samuel in the Bible. He was faithful to God from beginning to end. What a testimony. And so he was just a little boy at this time. And this was at night. And it says in verse 2, "It came to pass at that time while Eli was lying down in his place, and when his eyes had begun to grow so dim that he could not see, and before the lamp of God went out in the tabernacle of the Lord, where the ark of the Lord was, and while Samuel was lying down," so everything's just calming down, it's nighttime, they're all in bed, "that the Lord called Samuel. And he answered, 'Here I am.' And he ran to Eli and said, 'Here I am, for you called me.' And Eli said, 'I didn't call you. Go lie down. Go to sleep.' So he went and he lay down. And then the Lord called Samuel again. He said, God Almighty is talking to a little boy. And here's what he said. Samuel. He said it so quietly, so softly, that Samuel literally thought it was Eli, an older man in the next room, that was calling his name. Now, you might think if God Almighty were to speak, it would shake the heavens and the earth, and there would be no doubt about it. It would be thunder and lightning. No, that's not how God speaks, and that's why people miss his voice. One of the things that surprised me most in my walk with God over all these years is how easy it is to ignore him or not hear him. God is not the loudest voice. God's voice is not the loudest voice in the world. And the level of importance of any voice in the world is not measured by its volume. There are a lot of forces in this world trying to get your attention, and they use all manner of things. Some of them use volume, and they try to be the loudest or the brightest or the most intriguing or promise you the most benefit. If you listen to this and listen to that, most of them just want your money. They don't even care about you. So God does not compete with all these voices. His voice is the most important. It's the one that you should treasure and value the most and put the most attention toward. But notice how subtly God spoke. He said to a little boy, Samuel. And so Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, Here I am, for you called me. And he said, I didn't call you. Lie down again. And so Samuel did not yet know the Lord, nor was the word of the Lord yet revealed to him. So God speaks a little differently to us in these New Testament days, but his mannerisms are the same. His attributes are the same. It's the still small voice. It's not the most overwhelming voice in the room, in the world. He's chosen. He could be. Do you think that God could speak in a way that was unmistakable? Certainly he could, but he doesn't. Do you think that God could shake you to your foundation and reveal his glory to the point where you would just be embarrassed to be alive? Yeah, he could, but that's not how he operates. In this dispensation, he's chosen to remain hidden, and his voice is the still small voice. It can be heard, but it has to be pursued. It's not going to come out of nowhere and overwhelm you. It's not going to force you to recognize it. That's what's so amazing to me about God. If anybody could demand your attention and get it with whatever means necessary, it would be God. And yet he speaks in a whisper, and he allows anyone and everyone to disregard it, disobey it, or not even hear it, not even listen to it if they want to. How many times has this happened to you where you did something in your life and it turned out to be a mistake, and you're like, something told me not to do that? Well, that was God. And he didn't force you to listen to him. He gets blamed for everything. God's chosen to remain invisible, and he's chosen to let everyone live their life on their own and make their own choices without overriding their will. It's called freedom. He's given us that. Every person has sovereignty over their own choices, and that's given to them by God. And so then God gets blamed for being unconcerned, unloving, uninvolved, detached. That's what agnosticism is. If there is a God, he doesn't care. No, he gets blamed for that. But he is God, and he does care.
I love Greg Fritz's ministry. I love the way he teaches faith and the way he teaches healing. It's phenomenal.
To me, when Greg teaches, he ministers to the heart.
From seeing him on TV and then seeing him in person, he's real, he's honest.